This is obviously on a closed road and professional driver, but maybe I could get on video that sensation of the front end lifting up. Welcome back, guys. As some of you may know, a little bit ago I bought a diesel pickup truck, and with diesel prices these days it's gotten pretty frustrating. So I've been on the lookout for a little bit more of a daily driver. Now I had some criteria. The truck is great to daily drive, but it is not the world's most efficient thing, and it's not the world's most comfortable thing. So my criteria was pretty simple. Something that's kind of disposable, cheap, or at least affordable, and then comfortable and very usable. I've been on the search and I started going down that EV path, but I did not want to go and get a Tesla because at that point I'd have to pull a dick out of my mouth to explain to them why I bought the car. So this is what I came up with. Now there is one problem. It is not cheap. Now we did manage to fit some of the criteria. It is an EV. It is a HUMMER EV, in case you don't know, and it's not cheap and it's not necessarily efficient. It's actually the least efficient vehicle or electric vehicle you could buy. But I've been living with it for the last couple of days, and I'm kind of gonna give you a breakdown on my thoughts on this EV HUMMER here, and if you should buy one or not, or if I should buy one, because it's not mine. I rented this car because I wanted to see how I feel about it before I go and try to spend a whole bunch of money. So let's go for a drive and talk about this thing, because it is actually pretty cool. So I guess first things first, why an EV? In the last year or so, I bought my diesel truck. So why an EV? Well, maybe as far as you guys know me, I haven't owned, and I don't necessarily get on the electric vehicle train. A couple of years back, I rented a Plaid just because I wanted to experience it, and that car was a lot of fun. Oh, there it is. Oh, silliest vehicle. Holy shit, what the fuck? Holy shit. Holy what the fuck? Holy holy Jesus.
Dobra, starczy. Niedobrze. No jest to. No rzeczywiście. Ja pierdolę. Ja pierdolę. Okej.
Oh my god! Kurwa! Ja myślałam, że się... O matko święta, moje okulary!
Back then, the infrastructure was nowhere near where it is today. So that's one of the first big things that made me think about the EV side of things, is the fact that now it's a lot more doable. Back then, when I had that Plaid, I constantly had that range anxiety because I had to think about where can I charge up the car, because there wasn't very many options back then. If you hook it up at home, it's pretty much pointless. It will charge like 1 mile an hour or something like that, and so it's pretty much pointless. So over a 12-hour night or something like that, you'd get 12 miles of range. So unless you get your house set up and actually have a proper charger, just plugging it into the mains does pretty much next to nothing. So that was one of the first things that kind of stuck in my mind to entertain the idea of an EV. The second reason is they're kind of, I guess, disposable, right? Yeah, my problem is, or most people's problem that are car guys, is we tend to build relationships and fall in love with cars. That's why we often say, I need a daily for my daily. which is silly, but it's true. It happens all the time. And at that point, that turns into a project or whatever else. And I wanted it to be something fun. And I guess that's the nice thing about today's EVs. They're all immensely powerful and they make it a lot of fun. So it's no longer the days of the Nissan Leaf or whatever, or a G-Wiz or something like that, where it barely has enough power to get out of its own way and its range is like 60 to 70 miles. Like this Hummer EV, this is a 2X model, not a 3X. If I was to purchase one, I'd probably go for the 3X. But even at like 77% charge that I'm at right now, it's showing me 266 miles to go, which is plenty. And this is the least efficient EV on the market. And that's the appeal to me. I kind of like that. You know, if I'm going to go down the electric car route, or vehicle, I guess, because this is a truck, I'd rather it be something that is a little bit more obnoxious, a little bit more like a regular internal combustion car. But that was the problem with my Golf R. I bought it to be a daily driver that was fun, and then it turned into a project, a race car, and so on and so forth. With these things, with EVs, you really can't turn them into project cars, right? But I still wanted it to be comfortable and enjoyable. And that's the one thing about this thing. The comfort level is off the charts. It soaks up bumps and carries its weight, because it is immensely heavy, so well. Like right now, that was a pretty big bump. In my truck, that would be a little bit jarring. Granted, it has stiffer suspension because it's made for towing. It's a 2500, but this eats up the bumps. It is extremely quiet, extremely smooth. I really actually enjoy just putzing around in it. The power of it is kind of funny. This one, I don't think has the WTF mode or the watts to freedom. I tried to engage it and it doesn't work. That might only come on the 3X model, but I'll link Throttle House's review of this car because they do a fantastic job covering it, and actually they're the ones that interested me in it. The other thing that this thing has a lot of is electronic gizmos. Kind of like the Cybertruck, I think GM used this as a platform to showcase all of their technology that they currently have, just like the Cybertruck did for Tesla. But this is nowhere near as offensive looking on the road as a Tesla Cybertruck. I'm sorry, the technology behind that thing is off the charts. But if you want my honest opinion, it is a heinous looking vehicle. Even the Rivian, it just looks like, I don't know, something from a cartoon or something like that. Where this, fundamentally, you know it's a Hummer looking at it. It still has that Hummer-esque look to it, but obviously for the 21st century and electrification. So it still, to me, looks like a car, just maybe like a concept car of the Hummer H2 brought to life. The other thing I want to address, since we're talking about looks, is its size. Everywhere, any review video, and anywhere you research this car online, one of the things they keep talking about, it's, you know, unapologetically and offensively large of a vehicle. It really isn't that big. Maybe I'm a little bit biased because I daily drive a 2500 pickup truck, but it really isn't. I mean, it is wide. It is a pretty big car, but it's really easy to maneuver. It's a peach to drive on the road. It's really easy to park. It's got four-wheel steer, which is a little bit trippy, and it does make noise on like long, slow on-ramps, kind of like parking garages. You go down to parking garages and the tires are screeching because they're fighting against each other essentially. But it turns really well, it parks really well. I actually over-parked it, so instead of going into a spot, like you have your spot and you drive in like so, I drove in and over-drove it into it because I'm not used to the four-wheel steer. So it's a peach to drive around. It's easy to park. It doesn't feel nearly as large as everybody makes it out to be. Visibility is pretty great. I mean, it's got the small windshield with the 3 wipers, which is kind of cool. It's kind of got those vibes that you get out of a FJ Cruiser. Those had 3 wipers, in case you didn't know. And overall, inside it's packed with technology. You have everything you could possibly think of that's currently available on the market. This is a 25 model year. This is not even the top tier range. Like I said, this is a 2X, not a 3. And it has more than anything you'd need. The only 2 downsides I've seen with it so far, and I'm comparing it to my Denali Ultimate, is 1, it doesn't have a regular 120 volt plug anywhere in here. So you can't plug in certain things or charge certain things. And then the other one is the fact that in the back, it's got the trick tailgate like my truck does, but it doesn't have a radio. Now, I did not research this any. I don't know if the 3X comes with it. It's honestly not really a priority. But because these here come off, it would be nice to have. We're going to hit it here really quick because, again, this is not the most powerful one. It doesn't have the WTF or Watts to Freedom mode, but it still rips. It is crazy. For something that weighs 10,000 pounds, this thing just goes. This is so idiotic. It's such a stupid thing. You should not be able to accelerate that fast in such a large and heavy vehicle. It's silly. And the other thing is, and I suspect I will probably have to research this, and I'll put a little asterisk on the screen after I do, but I suspect during acceleration, because it floats so much, it's almost like a boat getting on plane. I think it's some of this air suspension playing a little bit of trickery, because it will lift up. It feels like it's doing a wheelie, and then it will come back down, and the way it comes back down makes me think that air suspension is kind of adding to the effect of it getting up on plane per se and then coming back down. But the feeling is crazy because it feels like you're doing a wheelie. So it's actually a lot of fun. And just it puts around between traffic, it does a great job. You know, you drive it like normal. It's got all the blind spot, all those things. You know, it honestly is very enjoyable to drive. And it's quick, you know, obviously to change lanes, like right now we're going 50, and let's say I have to get around somebody or pass them, it's, I mean, immediate. And those are, you know, triple digits already. It's quite insane. Now, one thing that I noticed, and again, I'm comparing this to a Denali Ultimate, is in the trick hatch, like my truck has, it doesn't have a radio. And I don't know if that's an option, if those come on the 3X. I will research this as well and pop it up on the screen. But that would be kind of cool for the reason that you have these removable T-tops. Now, this is the pickup truck version of it, and this is what I would go for. I wouldn't go for the hatch. I'd rather have a bed, and I think it looks way cooler when you remove these. Pop up a picture from Google on the screen here really quick, and you could take it to the beach. It'd be awesome. So if you could tailgate and have a radio back there and have these off, it would be the ultimate beach car. And it's supposed to be a work car for me. This is supposed to be a daily commuter, but it could do a lot of cool things. Speaking of these, I had an F-body Camaro. I had a 2000 SLP SS Camaro, and it had the glass T-tops. They're a cool concept. I know that a lot of them often leak. Mine didn't, so that's a concern, I guess, to keep in mind in the future of having one of these. This roof could potentially leak one day, but they're fun to remove, and essentially you're almost like having a convertible without giving up any of the structural rigidity. Granted, this is an EV. Most of its structural rigidity is in the floor, so that you could play around with stuff like that. But if I was to purchase one, I'd definitely tint the windows. I'd definitely put a layer of tint on the T-top, because right now it's cloudy, so it's doable. But yesterday when the sun was beating down, and in North Carolina the sun gets pretty hot, it cooks you in here. So I definitely put another layer of tint on. They do have tint on them, but I definitely put a second one and maybe give up some of the sunlight, but be a little bit more comfortable. So after living with this thing for a few days, what is my opinion, and should you buy one or should I buy one? I'm kind of torn. I do really actually like it. It is kind of offensive, especially to EVs and how silly it is. It looks cool. I know people have different opinions on its looks, but I like it, especially for an EV. In today's world, all the EVs always have to look so weird. Like they don't look like a car. They do weird things with shapes and trying to make it aerodynamic and get every ounce of range. This is kind of loud and obnoxious. Big heavy tires, big wide hips, and it looks like what we love about cars. It has character. So I like the way it looks. I love the way it drives, honestly. It carries its weight great. It has plenty of power. It is plenty of fun to drive. The range is okay. I mean, I know people are nowadays expecting 400 plus miles out of a charge, which, you know, in an efficient world, sure, is great. But this, if I get 300 to 350 miles out of a charge, that'd be more than plenty for what I need for work. And that's part of the problem. This is where I'm torn, because I'm supposed to get this for myself as a work vehicle to be able to daily drive and not rack up miles on my essentially tow vehicle or on the Golf R. It's pretty pricey for that. I mean, used ones you could get into 60s, which is still a lot of money, but the savings will go across quite far. So I charged this thing at one of the fast chargers, public fast chargers, yesterday, and it had about 120 miles of range remaining when I plugged it in. Charged it up to 80%, and it cost me about, I think it was 46 bucks, and got me to 280 some miles worth of range, which is, I mean, with today's fuel prices, unbeatable. And it took, I think, like 24 or 26 minutes. So I literally went into a grocery store, got a couple of things, hung out, watched a part of a Cletus YouTube video, and I was ready to roll. So the inconvenience has gotten smaller and smaller when it comes to an EV. Before, it was an all-day charge thing. Now it really is not that much of a problem. Spending 15-20 minutes somewhere to get it charged up and it gets you plenty of range is not that much of an inconvenience. A lot of people will spend 15 minutes in a gas station, walk around trying to pick out a snack. But in my application, it'd be really easy to live with every day. There's plenty of charging stations all around Raleigh, so I could very easily pull off, spend 20-25 minutes and get it charged up if I'm in a pinch. But for the most part, I think I could get this thing charged up overnight, every night, and be able to use it for work every day. So now I have some thinking to do, because again, I'm really not sure. If you could afford it and you have the need for such a vehicle, I would absolutely buy it. Honestly, I would buy this EV over any EV, probably even over a Plaid, because it is an SUV and it does SUV type things. It is a lot more convenient than just having a sedan. Again, having a bed and be able to tow something, even something small like a boat or something like that, you can't do that with a Plaid. So I think, in my opinion, this is probably one of the best EVs on the market, at least in application for somebody that's like a car guy. If you want to go fast, obviously go for a Plaid, or if you could afford it, a Lucid or something like that. But if you just want a vehicle that is really fun to drive, you can't really go wrong with this. And it looks pretty cool. You know, the Model S is a pretty good looking car, but this looks cool. I feel cool driving it. And obviously that's a biased opinion because it's mine, but I do feel pretty cool driving around in this compared to driving around in something like a Tesla Model X or something like that. So should I buy one? That I'm not sure on. I'm gonna sleep on this for a little bit and research it. This is not amount of money that I could just throw away. It would be a work vehicle, and my job would compensate paying for it, so it wouldn't necessarily be a content vehicle. It would just be something you'd see in the background that I use to putz around and get around. But the one thing, and it's one of the main takeaways from this, I feel like EVs are still a car that you buy if you have a second car. Because if you need to drive cross country, it is really difficult to do in an EV. Now I'm willing, if I buy one, I'm willing to try it and take it from North Carolina to Illinois for Christmas and figure out a route to test it to see if it is doable. And today it might be a lot more doable than it was 3-4 years ago when I first thought about renting one to do such a thing with. So stay tuned. If I end up pulling the trigger on one, you'll see it on the channel. If not, I'll keep looking. And right now, I'm gonna go for a small drive and enjoy the Super Cruise as well, because that's pretty cool that it drives itself. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one.